Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Thursday evening to you all. Hope you guys are feeling well out there tonight and have had a great day and a great week as we're making our way to the end of it, almost to the weekend. We're all thankful for that. But tonight, we're going to give you the latest and greatest information on this potential big cold front next week. We're not really talking about the one that has been moving throughout portions of the country today and is continuing to do so throughout the night into tomorrow morning. That is going to bring some chilly air too, and already has for a lot of the country. But we're going to talk about the one for next week, which really has the chance to bring a lot of people their first frost and freeze of the 2022 fall season. And then a lot of people could see their first snow. Even outside the higher elevations, a lot of those Great Lakes regions, or the lake effect snow regions, could certainly see their first snows. And then some of the mountainous regions, even away from the Great Lakes, could see some snow. So we're going to give you some information on that, talk about what we know. But listen, guys, this is going to be some chilly air for mid-October standards. So I don't want you guys to get caught off guard. This isn't, frightening weather by any means or anything like that. But it's certainly something that needs to be discussed, because for a lot of people, this is going to put it into the growing season altogether. And some folks could certainly see a hard freeze, which is described to be 28 degrees or lower. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. It goes a long way, and I appreciate the ongoing support. And if you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. So we're going to pretty much give you some cut and dry information in this video. As you can tell, I don't have 1,000 tabs pulled up here, so you know it's going to be a relatively simple and short video, but we're going to give you a lot of good information in this. So you take a look at what's going on across the country. You can tell, you can actually see where the cold front is draped across, and here it is. It's kind of pushing more so from the west rather than the north. So the cold front's actually going to bring that cool, crisp, dry air to areas of the south before it actually does areas to like Maine and the northeast. And this is just the way that the trough or the cold front is digging. And this happens a couple times a year, so it's not totally unusual. Sometimes it just depends on where the dump of cold air really is coming from and how the trough is digging. So it's digging more so to the west, therefore it's coming in from the west. But you can tell all this dry air right here, and you see these whiter colors on your screen. That is basically higher moisture content in the air, higher water vapor in the air, if you will. And this is just moving on off the eastern coast, and we'll continue to clear the coastline and completely clear the entire eastern U.S. by sometime tomorrow. And then everybody will feel the effects of this cold front. But listen, tomorrow morning, a lot of the eastern and central U.S. is going to wake up to some chilly temperatures. Today, this morning, for example, in the Carolinas, we woke up to widespread 60s, very mild for October, and certainly mild from what we've seen. But tomorrow, those same areas will wake up into the 40s, and the mountainous areas, maybe the 30s, and then you'll have areas where it'll drop below freezing in areas of the Great Lakes region and the Midwest. But you notice in Maine, it's warmer in Maine than it is in the Panhandle of Florida, and you're asking, well, why? And it's because of what I just explained just a couple minutes ago, and that's the fact that this trough is digging more from the west than the north. Therefore, it's going to hit areas down here before it does up here. So Boston tomorrow, you'll wake up in the 60s, but then your temperatures will actually probably rise somewhat and then crash by the time you get into the evening. Not necessarily crash as in a big drop, but they will drop definitely overnight tomorrow night. So that's the cold front that's going to influence the weather in the short term, as in the next 48 hours. So this is between the 19th and the 23rd. Listen, well below average temperatures now predicted. This is an 80-90% chance to see likely below temperatures compared to average in this region. So the chill is on. This is going to really set the stage next week. Some of the coolest air, the coldest air of the 2022 fall season is going to hit next week, and certain areas are just going to be quite chilly. I'm not just talking about temperatures in the mornings. The high temperatures are going to struggle. They really are. Certain areas will just only get into the upper 40s, even for areas pretty far south too, like in Tennessee, maybe northern areas of Georgia. The higher elevations of the mountains of North Carolina might, not even be able to get out the 40s. Very chilly air. So this is going to grip the country. So let's talk about how chilly. Well, this weekend, this is for Saturday, temperatures already rebounding ahead of this big Arctic front. I wouldn't call it an Arctic front, but you certainly got Arctic air from the origins of the Arctic. So A big cold push of air coming in from the north right here. You got temperatures Saturday only jammed up in the 40s for some of the and 50s for the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes region. Only the 40s, maybe only 30s for highs in areas way up here in northern Wisconsin, UP, and Michigan. But certainly pretty warm in the south ahead of this front. But then we start to get into Sunday, still a warm day in the south, and this cold front begins to somewhat slow up, and then it picks back up, if you will. And then you would get into Monday early next week, still warm across the southeast, 70s and 80s. But look, the cold air is just close by. 40s in Ohio Valley, 50s in Kentucky, West Virginia. And then as we get into Tuesday morning, this cold front really gets a move on here. And then next Tuesday morning, very chilly conditions. Make it all the way to the Gulf Coast. Widespread hard freezes for Kentucky, Tennessee potentially. And just widespread below freezing temperatures for Tuesday morning. This will be a hard freeze. The coldest air of the 2022 fall season, certainly on the way. And then this is potential, give or take, high temperatures for Tuesday. I mean, only in the 50s for North Carolina, Virginia, 50s, the 40s in the Ohio Valley. These are high temperatures. Even in the deep south, the central to northern parts of Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, got a little something in my eye here. Highs only in the 50s. I mean, so very chilly conditions here. And then we're getting into Wednesday morning of next week. Man, just 30s all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Look at this 38-degree reading all the way in the western panhandle of Florida, guys. This is really cold temperatures, and the GFS continues to actually trend colder than high temperatures for next Wednesday. I mean, just downright chilly. I mean, this cold front makes it all the way clear past, it clears Florida too, guys. So, I mean, only 70s for highs, pretty deep into Florida for next Wednesday. And then this is lows. I mean, lows getting all the way down, I mean, into the 50s, into Tampa Bay, certainly Jacksonville, Orlando, Florida. This is going to be a full East Coast clearing cold front, and including Florida, guys. So we're getting into Thursday morning. I mean, widespread 40s in northern Florida. But, I mean, very cold temperatures, guys, are going to grip the eastern U.S. well below average temperatures. And then the lingering influences of this continue into next weekend. And then it might warm up again, and then we'll have to watch what happens past 10 days, which we don't know. But, you know, we've been watching this cold front. But this is going to be, I mean, I'm talking as much as 20 to 25 degrees below average in certain areas. True Arctic air mass for October standards, guys. A really strong cold front, upper trough, really moving through the area. The next thing we watch is moisture. What kind of moisture are we looking at? Well, this cold front moves through, and the second cold front turns around and moves right towards the Great Lakes regions, and then kicks off, I think, some pretty intense lake effect snow for Lake Superior. So if you're in the UP of Michigan Sunday night into Monday morning, certainly some snow will be falling. And guys, this is going to make it all the way into, it's going to probably fire off some lake effect snows in Lake Michigan, I think. And then it will obviously hit the eastern sides of Lake Michigan as you have a flow that's moving in from the northwest to the southeast. And, I mean, this cold air spilling over these relatively still warm surfaces of these Great Lakes is going to kick off lake effect moisture. And then as we're getting into, let's say, next Tuesday morning, look at these blues showing up. Erie, Pennsylvania. I mean, some of these flakes can make it all the way to Pittsburgh. You got a lake effect snow band popping off here, moving basically north to south into northern Indiana. And some of these flakes could drift all the way to the I-95 corridor. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all, guys. But I think it might fire off maybe a little bit of a northwest flow in West Virginia. Some flakes I think will fly. And I would not be surprised, guys, if some flakes are squeezed out, even on the northwestern slopes of Virginia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. I would not be surprised at all. You don't see any blue down here, but that doesn't mean you're not going to see flakes flying. But look at these lake effect snow streamers right here. I think somebody could get a few inches of snow. I really do. I think this could be one of those, potentially, we'll have to see how these models trend, but this could be an early season lake effect snow event. And when I say event, I'm meaning more than maybe just some flurries. This could be something that accumulates and something we need to watch, because what I'm worried about here is you still got foliage on the trees. We saw that freak Buffalo lake effect snow storm that happened, I thought, in the early 2000s, I believe, something like that. For you folks up in that area, y'all probably know the year and everything. Well, we got several inches of snow. I think feet of snow in Buffalo, New York, in like I think it was early October. I'm not saying that's a repeat of this, but I'm telling you, there's still, I believe there's still, foliage on the trees. There's still leaves on the trees in this region. And this looks like it could potentially kick off as early as Monday evening and last all the way through potentially, Thursday. So if this is all snow, then it's just something we need to watch. I think the temperatures will still be relatively marginal. But listen, I think snow's possible, and I think it's likely at this point. In fact, you look at the national blend of all models, and we'll take this all the way out and through the end of next week. And you already have a corridor of snow showing up here in northwest Pennsylvania near Erie and in areas of far western New York State. It really likes the idea of a lake effect snow band really popping off in this area. And then look, in the higher elevations of West Virginia, even into the mountains of Maryland, far western Maryland, and in areas of Pennsylvania. Listen, I mean, I really think we could sneak some snow here in these areas, a few inches of snow. And for you folks in the UP and Michigan, northern Wisconsin, I mean, I think it's possible some intense lake effect snow for October standards could really get going early next week with this Arctic front that really moves through. But you see these little, tenth of an inch, half an inch showing up here, kind of scattered and smothered in Michigan and Ohio and northern Indiana. Listen, that just tells you that, models are picking up on snow in this area too. And if you look at, say, the GFS, let's see here, the GFS on the, oh Lord, come on now, the GFS on the latest model, I mean, it likes this area right into here to see a lot of snow. So it's just one run of the GFS, but it's something we need to watch. What is the European showing? It's certainly not as crazy, but it really likes a lot of lake effect snow up here in the UP and Michigan and northern Michigan. But it still shows snow. It even shows a hint of snow in those northwest facing slopes in Tennessee and North Carolina, guys, and Virginia. So listen, I really think we're going to get some of our first snows of the 2022 cold season. And I think some of them can really start off with a bang. I really do, guys. Watch Lake Erie, Lake Michigan, Lake Superior. I certainly think that this could be a significant snow event, a lake effect snow event. Not calling it right now. We have to continue to see model runs. But there's going to be some deep, cold air going over these. Still, obviously, the Great Lakes can still produce lake effect snow until they freeze over. And sometimes they never do completely freeze over. Only some of them come close to freezing over, right? But we got to watch this because I've always wanted to chase a lake effect snow band. I always thought it would be really cool. But we'll continue to watch this. We'll keep you guys updated up here. But regardless, everybody's going to see they're going to see the coldest era of the 2022 fall season coming up. But I'll continue to keep you guys updated on this. God bless. Have a great rest of your evening, and I'll be with you guys in the morning.